campus at 5:22 a.m. Jack sipped his wine and took a moment more to appreciate the beautifully pointed cap. This jet was still new, and he had not yet gotten accustomed to sitting in it. This was the campus's newest toy, a Gulfstream G550 ultra-long-range corporate jet, and it filled a couple of extremely important needs for the fledgling off-the-books intelligence organization. Since the capture and interrogation of the Emir, the operational tempo of their work had gone through the roof as they turned into more of an intelligence-gathering force and less of an assassination squad. The 5 operators, as well as the top brass and some of the analytical team, found themselves with increasing regularity heading all over the world to conduct surveillance on targets, or to track leads, or to perform other necessary tasks. Commercial flights worked just fine 90% of the time, but on occasion, Henley and his chief of operations, Sam Granger, needed to move a man or men extremely quickly from the DC-Baltimore metro area to some far-off point, usually so they could get eyes on a target who might be in place for only a short period of time. Commercial carriers flying from Washington Dulles, Ronald Reagan Washington National, and Baltimore Washington International airports had dozens of daily direct international flights, and hundreds more locations could be accessed from these airports with just a single connection. But occasionally, with 3 to 12 added hours of time needed to get through airport security and customs, wait for delayed flights, make connections, and anything else that every commercial airline passenger is subject to, just wasn't going to allow the campus to accomplish its mission. So Jerry Henley began looking for a private jet that would suit the needs of his organization. He established an ad hoc committee of in-house personnel to meet and decide on the exact requirements that would fit the bill. Money was not an object, though it was Henley's job to grumble with the aircraft committee to keep it reasonable and to not spend 1 cent more than was required for them to find what they needed. The group reported back to Jerry with their findings after several exhaustive weeks of research and meetings. The speed, size, and range they required could be accomplished by several ultra-long-range corporate jets made by Dassault, Bombardier Aerospace, Embraer, and Gulfstream Aerospace. Of these, it was determined the perfect aircraft for their needs would be the new Gulfstream 650. It was not lost on Henley that the 650 was also the most expensive aircraft of those in the running, but the statistics in its favor were convincing. Henley began looking for a 650, but immediately realized the pickings were slim. The campus wanted to keep the purchase of the jet as quiet and as low-key as possible, and sales of the new 650s were simply generating too much interest in the corporate aircraft community. We reconvened the committee, and they settled, if one could call choosing the second most luxurious and advanced aircraft in that class as settling, on the Gulfstream Aerospace G550, a model that was not yet 10 years old and still very much top of the line. Immediately, quiet feelers were sent out into the market by Henley and other executives in the campus. It took nearly 2 months, but the right aircraft did come along. It was a 7-year-old G550 that had been owned previously by a Texas financier who'd been sent to prison for knowingly working with Mexico's Juarez cartel. The government had liquidated the financier's assets. Jerry had gotten a call from a friend at DOJ who was involved in the auction, and Henley was delighted to learn he could get the airplane at a price far lower than what the aircraft would have gone for at open sale. The campus then arranged the purchase via a shell company based in the Cayman Islands, and the aircraft was delivered to a fixed base operator at a regional airport near Baltimore. Once Jerry and his executives went